Hello and welcome to today's episode of Nadi's Book Nook, through which we will dive more into these social issues and social biases that I have talked about in my book, In Labyrinth of Dreams. So today's topic is a little bit sensitive, especially for us who comes from conservative societies. And the aim is to challenge such norms and cultural values or so-called values. I got to admit though, challenging cultural norms, it is undoubtedly a tricky and a complex endeavor. And when it comes to discussing topics related to sexuality, especially in conservative societies, it becomes even more daunting. Because I know that, open conversations about sex are often rare and frequently met with disapproval. And it's not comfortable. So therefore, addressing the association of a woman's birth with her virginity, proving her purity, along with the ramifications of such expectations and the human cost of these archaic norms, it's not an easy task. It's not an easy task to talk about this and to broach this subject. But it is time we confront these issues head on. Because if we don't, women will continue to live in fear, lead inauthentic lives, and face discrimination and harassment. The revolution of such cultural norms tends to be slow in conservative societies, and largely because many, especially women, hesitate to speak out due to fear of retribution, stigma, and concerns for their future well-being. And one of the greatest paradoxes is that often those who fall victim to such norms, cultural values, they stand to protect those values too. But if you don't talk about this, the silence, that contributes to the demand for continuation of such cultural expectations. Demand for surgeries like hymen reconstruction. And that will perpetuate the victimization of women within a chauvinistic society. And I've seen this firsthand, like when a friend of mine who was a rape victim was labeled as damaged goods, a classic example. So it is crucial that we initiate dialogue around these topics and explore why these archaic expectations persist. And we need to analyze the rationale behind them, understand the human cost involved, and work towards changing the narrative that forces women to hide behind a lie. So, let's break the silence and pave the way for more open and supportive conversation about these very, very vital issues. So today, let us get on with exploring cultural norms and women's autonomy. So, as I embark on this new series, we will talk specifically about hymen reconstruction surgery, hymenoplasty, and why there are still many clinics, not just in South Asian countries or Middle Eastern countries, but even here in Canada, in Western countries. Why is there a need for this? For some, this choice may stem from a personal empowerment, and which is good. Great, it's a personal choice. They have the freedom of choice, as it should be. But for others, it's often a reaction to societal pressures and outdated norms. So I'm going to share a story about a young girl in Sri Lanka, someone, again, that I know. This took place about 15 years ago, 20 years ago. And she was a young student in university, madly in love. And of course, the relationship didn't work out. So unfortunately for her, heartbreak, it wasn't the only thing that she was worried about. So she was advised and she went through surgery to restore her hymen. And the only reason she did that was because of cultural expectations. The cultural expectations surrounding a woman's virginity, the expectations from a woman to remain a virgin, pure for her husband. So this is not just in Sri Lanka, though. This is not just in South Asia. There are still many societies a woman's worth is still tied to her virginity or perceived purity. And this is regardless of progress in education or the background people come from. And this creates immense pressure and unrealistic expectations for women, and forcing them to navigate a landscape that often feels inauthentic. So, this friend of mine, do you think she found peace after going through the surgery? I mean, her purity as perceived was restored. No one would know, right? But no. Definitely no. So, and the other interesting aspect of this is, while the society, or while there's a cultural expectation for a woman to remain a virgin until marriage, well, the same expectation is not there for men, right? So many men don't adhere to these unfair and outdated expectations. But still, a substantial portion of the society still does. They still expect these standards from women, and it's regardless of their education, wealth, or status. And it all comes down to the individual level of progressiveness and open-mindedness. So forcing someone to live an unauthentic life, it is never a positive thing. And as I said, this young girl, despite undergoing surgery to restore her hymen, she didn't find her peace through that choice at all. So this mindset, as I said, and I want to repeat, that it puts immense pressure on women, and it does create very unrealistic expectations. So now, let me pose a question to all the women out there. For those who believe in preserving your virginity or did preserve your virginity for the man you married, did you never have any relationships, any intimate relationships with another man? Did you ever love someone, perhaps a high school sweetheart or someone else after school that you met? Or was your man that you married the first person that you engage in any form of sexual activity? Or did you enjoy intimacy with other boyfriends you had or someone else and just saved your hymen just in case things didn't work out and you needed to prove your purity to the man you marry? And to all the men out there who expected your wife to be a virgin for you, were you a virgin for your wife? So today I'll leave you with that thought, and we will explore this topic in depth in coming weeks. And I'd love to hear your opinions. So please share your experiences and insight. And if this is not something that you're comfortable discussing out in open, you can always drop an anonymous post. So thank you for tuning in, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Until next time, take care.